Hi there. Welcome to another razor restore. This is the Carter Johnson straight near Wedge. I hate trying to get it on the camera where people can see it. I have such a hard time with that. Anyway, this was given to me again by Sir Brian. I really appreciate it. It's pretty clean, but there are some areas on the blade. This area in particular, that is going to take more than polish and some light sandpaper. It's going to require a little bit more work. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to go through what I'm going to do with this, and I'm going to drop it down here where hopefully you can see what I'm doing. But I'm going to start out with a little piece of 320 and see what that does to this rust. This is a near wedge, so there's a lot of metal here. And I don't know. Let me turn this around like this so I can get to it. But okay, that's not doing a lot. So we're going to go with plan B, which is some 60 grit. I don't like doing that, but you know, this is the difference between two extremes in razor restoration. I mean, this is still not bad, but I mean, I've got to take more drastic measures with this blade because it has more rust. And that's the deal. And now if you notice, I'm sanding in the direction of the grind marks. It's just, it works better that way to keep the scratches from showing as much. If I, for some reason, don't remove all the scratch marks like I should, it'll just sort of be like part of the grind when you buff it out. Now, I'm not touching the maker's mark. I'll get that bit of rust, but I'm not touching that with anything but polish, and the reason is I want that to stay, and it absolutely looks like somebody tried to clean it before and damaged that mark just a bit, and I don't want to do any more to it. Now, I'm probably, even though this is a wedge and I got all kind of metal to work with, once again, this is a vintage blade, and I'm not trying to make a brand new blade or a brand new razor. So I'm taking this rust off, but I'm not trying to bring it back to pristine. Now, if I had buffing wheels and that kind of deal, maybe I'd go a bit further. But what I'm doing is work that's being done by hand. Now, you can make a little holder for your blade. I've seen it on some other places on the net. Seen other guys doing it. You can make a little holder for your blade and really get down and dirty with removing some metal. You can make little tools that you can wrap the sandpaper around, and that'll take a lot of metal off. And I have tried that, and to be honest, I don't want to take all that metal off of these blades. Now, if I was a restorer and did it for money, that'd be a different thing. But this is for me and for my use. And I like the old blades. It's the reason I'm polishing this one up in the first place, buffing this one out, sanding it out, whatever you want to call it. It's the reason I'm doing all this work to start with. And so I don't want to take everything off of this blade. That's just my preference, what I want to do with this razor. And so I'm not looking to do that. Take some of this 320 now. I know I should probably have 100 grit and or 120 and 220 and 320 and on and on and on down the progressions. But this is what I have at hand. So this is what I'm going to use. And I want to buff this out until the scratches from that 60 grit are gone, and then I'll move up to 400. Now that's the 320, and you can see there are marks, black marks on this razor still, like the last one. They're not something that I care to worry too much about. They're just, it's an old razor. I like them that way. You can go further. I'm going to take some 400 now. You can go further, and I have before on a couple of razors, and just realized that I don't like the look. I much prefer to still be able to see some of the history of that blade when I shave with it. So I don't take everything off of the blade, because I don't. That's not my preference. Deal. That's the deal. That's all there is to it, and all there is about it. Once again, I'll sand a bit on this side, but the side where the maker's mark and stuff is, won't be touching that side with anything but polish, because it doesn't need it. There's not a bunch of rust there. There's no need to nail it. With sandpaper. So I'm gonna sand with this 400 now. Until I feel like it's smooth enough that I can move forward, and I don't have the next step up in sandpaper that I have is like 2,000. So I might hit it a bit with a 2,000, but if I do, it'll only be like a cursory kind of thing, because it would take absolutely forever to get the sanding marks and scratches from 400 grit sandpaper out with a 2,000 grit paper. Just, it would. So I'm not even going to go there. What I'm going to do is sand on this with the 400, and I think probably that's it. I probably won't even go to the 2,000. I'll sand with this 400, and then I will start hitting it with the mothers like you saw me do on that other razor. Alright, now, if you look at these scales, they're not very pretty. So I'm going to take this 400 and try to clean this up a bit. I don't know if I can. You have to be careful doing this too. Actually, let me get something. Yeah, I'll stay with the 4. You have to be careful with bone scales. Bone it's very bad for you to breathe in, so I really should be using a dust mask when I do this. But I'm a guitar builder, and let's see what this 320 will do. I work with bone all the time. And that's not an excuse for not using a mask. I guess what I'm saying is maybe I got a little too familiar with it and you should not be copying what I'm doing here. You ought to use a mask. But anyway, don't know what that'll do. It looks like the bone was finished with something, which I don't see the need of. So, but anyway, that's that. And next we will start polishing the blade. Okay, some good old mothers. And let's see what we've got going. This is a beautiful blade. I think this tip, I don't know, I'm not really up on the lingo. I ought to be. I use straights enough. But I've never been one to worry too much about the lingo. I just kind of enjoy what I enjoy and don't really need to know what everything's called, but there we go. And I forgot what I was trying to say. But this polish will probably take some more of that tarnish away, just like it did on the H. Elshaw Sheffield that I worked the last time. And so let's see. Let us see what this will do. But I mean, yeah, okay, that's what I was just remembered. I don't know what that tip is called. I think that might be what everybody calls a French tip. I don't know. But I like it. I like the way it looks. I have no clue whether I'll like it when it comes to shaving with it. That's something that remains to be seen. But I like the look of it. And so we're going to just buff on this blade for a bit and see what we get. Alright, this is what I'm going to call done. Let's see if I can trying to get the maker's mark to show. There we go. Carter Johnson. This is the finished product. Yes, there are scratches and nicks on the blade. That's all right. It's going to be nice and clean. It's going to shave really well once I get a good edge on it. Now I took the bone scales and after I sanded a bit on them, I buffed them up with mothers. Got inside them with a cloth with some mothers on it. and cleaned as much as I could of the black crud and stuff that was out of there, that was in there, out of there. This is a bone scale, and I believe that wedge is pewter or lead. But anyway, to me, that's beautiful. It'll serve me for a long time. Now, one final thing. What I just showed you in the other video on restoration that I have up at the moment is home restoration. It's not, these videos are not designed to teach you how to professionally restore a razor. That's not what I'm about. What I'm about is making the razors clean and presentable so that I can use them without destroying what they are. Very old and very wonderful instruments that, except for us proud few, time has forgotten. And so I don't want to destroy the passage of time on these blades. That's why I love them. So, alright, hopefully, you know, what I have shown you will help you not to be afraid to take that antique store straight razor, or that straight razor granddad left in the drawer that's got a little bit of rust on it. You know, it's not black with rust and unusable, but it has some rust on it, and you want to clean it up and make it presentable and shaveable, and you can do that. It's real easy. Just takes a little elbow grease and paying attention to what's going on. All right, God bless you, and thanks for going along with me.